Hi and welcome. In today's episode, we are going to explore how to secure our MCP server tools for different groups with varying privileges and permissions. We'll do all of this within Copilot Studio. For those of you who are new to Copilot Studio, it's a fantastic platform for building AI tools. It offers hundreds, even thousands, of out-of-the-box connectors and multiple templates to choose from for your AI agent. We'll set up different groups and user permissions, one as an admin, another one as a reader. We can test the permissions level each one has. I'm already logged in, as you can see, in the top right corner as the admin or the system admin user. Let's go to our agent and see how this would work. In our Agents tab, we can see that I have 3 tabs I have listed here. Let's select the Agent tab. I've chosen this one for our demo, simply called Agent, because I already have a MCP tool already set up called Product Server Demo when I choose our MCP Content tab. When we check the additional details, we see that it uses end user credentials, meaning whatever actions the end user can perform, they will be able to do here. Scrolling down a bit, we can see all the tools available for us to use. This include creating a new product, deleting a product, getting a product by ID, listing all products, searching for a product, or updating a product. Let's dive right in and choose list all products for our MCP server to see what comes up. As we can see, our agent recognizes the request and fetched all the items in our database. What happened behind the scene is that our agent recognized the list all products tools. It actually chose to invoke it and made the fetch connection. We can also update something here. So let's take a look at what we have. I see the standing desk mat is out of stock. Let's put it back in stock. For example, by selecting update in stock, and let's see what happens. As you can see here, it immediately updated the status to in stock true. This is really cool. I'm able to list an update as an admin user. Now let's switch to a reader account and perform the same step. So we can go to our agent, view tools, and we should see all the available tools in just a moment. Yes, we can still see all the tools. If I chose list all products, I should be able to list them. But if I try to update a standing desk mat, for example, to out of stock, it shouldn't take effect. So let's actually take a look here. It It does tell me that I don't have the right level of permissions to perform this action here, and I need higher privileges, such as product writer or an admin role, which is exactly what we wanted to achieve by this demo here. To add an MCP server, you can go to your agent and press on add in tools, and you add a new tool. Give it a name, the description of the server, point it to your URI, and then choose OAuth 2 0 and manually choose the manual configuration because Intra doesn't support that yet, and then you enter the client ID, secret, authorization URL, and etc. Once you do that, it will automatically make the tools discoverable for your agent so that it could be invoked once enabled. Now let's jump into our Entra ID. And in our Entra ID, you can see that we have 3 user groups: a product admin, a product reader, and a product writer. The product admin has only one user, and that user is the system administrator that we saw earlier in the demo that could perform all types of actions. The reader has 2 users. One is my personal email, and then the other one is our test reader that we were testing with. We also have 2 app registrations. One is for the client, and one is for the API. In our authentication here, you can see that we are allowing Insomnia and other apps to be using this MCP tool. And then in our permissions, we are using delegated permissions, user as, and then granting delegated permission and product admin delegated as well. The one thing that I want to point out is for the API permission, why is it needed? And this is because the initial setup of Copilot Studio requires you to have an app or API permissions enabled for you to make that initial connection. But it still uses the logged in user delegated permission. When we jump into our API or MCP product catalog API, secondary app registration in our app roles, we can see that we have the product reader defined, writer, and admin. Let's navigate to our app gateway. Our app gateway is the only thing that's publicly accessible through the internet, as it has a web application firewall enabled, and we can apply rules there, make our entire solution more secure, and have APIM and Azure Container Apps sit behind a VNET, which is not publicly accessible. Here we see our public API, which is used to connect to our MCP server. We are also using the standard V2 Web Application Firewall, which we could upgrade to WAF V2 for better features, but that's topic for another time. That's what I wanted to mention from a security and networking perspective. It's internal only, nothing allowing external or public traffic. It's pointed to our app gateway, so that's how it connects. Let's now switch to our API management. You can see that it's online, it's deployed to East US location, and we are using the developer tier. Under deployment and infrastructure, we can see the network tab. And this is important because this is how you can lock down or prevent public access to your APIM instance. So we're choosing to go with the internal only, and we're using our virtual network to allow us to do that. But you may ask, how is our API management connecting, or how is our app gateway connecting to our API management? And let's actually take a look at that. So we can go to the backend pool, and in the backend pool we have IP addresses or FQDN. We can also navigate back to the backend settings, and if we scroll down, we can see that the host name is pointing to our API management gateway URL, and we can choose a custom probe so that we can see if our APIM is healthy or not. Under our virtual network, we have 3 subnets defined. One is for our Azure Container Apps, one for our App Gateway, and another one for our API management. In our Azure Container Apps configuration or network ingress, you can see that we are allowing ingress, but our app can only talk to App Gateway or APIM since the traffic is limited to the VNET. Anything outside of the VNET or public won't be allowed. Let's go back to APIM. Let's go back to APIM as that's where the most of the secret sauce takes place. In our API, we can see 2 API definition. One is Echo API and the other one is Product API Catalog. In our API catalog, we can see that there is a validate JWT token. And this is applied only at the API level, not the MCP level. So the policies that are being applied here are segregated, are not like inherited by the MCP server. So if we have a validate JWT, we are going to have the same validate JWT under the policy of our MCP server. And here we are in the MCP server side, and you can see another validate JWT token. We also have a more granular inspection of that JWT token because we want to make sure that the logged in user are only or are able to assign the roles that are assigned to them, right? So if they're an admin, they can update, delete, read. But then if they're only a reader, they can only read. They cannot make any other calls, basically. To add an MCP server, it's easy enough. So we can go back to MCP servers, select create an MCP server. You have 2 options: create an existing MCP server or expose an API as an MCP server. If you have an API already, it's easy enough so that you can just press the API drop-down menu, select from the drop-down menu. So we can actually select the product catalog, and it automatically pre-populates all the endpoints or operations available for you to expose as MCP server. I already done that in a previous step before, so I don't need to do that. But like it's very simple and easy steps. Once you do that, like you will have something like this, where I'm calling it product catalog demo, and then you can see all your create, delete, operation, get, list, all products, search products, update products, and so on and so forth. And then every time you add to this API, you will see those tools available for you to update here as well. So this is a brief summary on how you can secure your MCP server. I hope you found this very helpful. If you have any questions or any comments, please leave them down below. Thank you so much, and see you on the next one. Peace.